how we connect with each other and live our lives in a higher purpose in our soul's calling and go beyond it.
Yeah.
That is there for us in the Akashic Records.
Hi, I'm Suara, and welcome to Akashic Records Unlocked, a summit to spread awareness about the Akashic Records, sharing insights about healing in the Akashic Records to bring a little more happiness, abundance, and maybe even a little bit of magic into our lives. We're so excited today to have a very special guest, Lumari. Lumari is a gifted, internationally acclaimed intuitive coach, creation catalyst, and vibrational energy master who has shown thousands of people all over the world how to awaken and live their higher soul's calling and uplift our world. Born with special multidimensional psychic, conscious channeling, creative, and healing gifts, Lumari serves as a catalyst and mentor for personal and planetary change and awakening. She's an award-winning best-selling author of numerous breakthrough, life-changing spiritual books, including Akashic Records, Collective Keepers of Divine Expression. For over 25 years, she has shown leaders, creatives, visionaries, entrepreneurs, and changemakers to create the high vibe shifts to accelerate your gifts, make a positive difference in the world, and have fun doing it. Welcome, Lumari.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm delighted to be here, Swara. Thank you.
We're so excited to have you here today. We've interviewed a lot of people that are Akashic Records, healers, and teachers. But Lumari, you bring something so different to our group. So will you tell us a little bit about yourself and the work that you do?
I would love to. Thank you. So I am a multidimensional channel, and I connect and bring to our planet the frequencies of creation. So if you imagine the blast of energy that created the universe, that created all of us, that is where my connection to divine energies in our world is. And that the name of that being is Alahuashka, and the frequencies create. So that's where I play in all the different areas that I work with people. I'm bringing in creation frequencies. So it isn't there, it's like there's not a gap between what you're vibrating to and what you're creating, which is really exciting for me. And so I've written lots of different books about it. And when I coach and work with people, even though, in this moment right now, you're probably feeling this expansion vibration, because as I'm talking, I'm bringing those creation frequencies.
Yeah.
And what I think is so brilliant about Alahuashka and those frequencies is that because it's creation, it knows us.
Yeah.
So the frequencies that are beautiful and blessing and expansive for you may be slightly different from someone else who's listening, and they're getting their frequencies, because that's how creation plays.
Wonderful. Actually, as you're speaking, and even as I was reading the bio, I definitely felt the energy come in. And I was telling myself, whoa, I've got to hold on. I've got to focus and read these words right now, because I could definitely feel it coming in. So yeah. I hope that our readers and listeners right now can also feel that coming in, because it's powerful.
Thank you. Yes.
As you're tapping into the energy and connecting with Alahuashka, what was it about the Akashic Records that made you look into what the Akashic Records are, and what did you find there?
Well, this is so exciting, because I have a thing about asking powerful questions of myself in the world. And I had been listening to conversations about what the Akashic Records were, and it was this, and it was a library, and you went in and you got the information, and it just didn't seem right. I don't mean like right and wrong. It just didn't seem like it was really what the Akashic was, because when I was tuning into it, the Akashic holds the wisdom of the universe. So how can you just like, oh, it's a library, you go in, you look it up, you say thank you, and you leave, you know, and hopefully you get your library card back, right? It's like, no, this is so much bigger. This is the container for everything that the divine, and when I connect with Alawashka, that's kind of the creation frequency, has been created. What is it? So because I'm a channel and I have access, I just know that I can tune in anywhere I need to and get the response. So I decided that I would take a breath and ask the Akashic Records if I could interview them, if I could ask them who they are and how they work.
Wonderful.
And they said yes.
And then when you say like you asked to interview them, who are they that you interviewed?
Well, this was the exciting thing. So when I connected with the energy and I felt the frequency, I felt a collective as opposed to like one being who was a gatekeeper. I felt a collective of wisdom and consciousness there. So I said, okay, so you're saying, yes, you will answer my questions. Who are you?
Yeah.
And they said, we are the collective keepers of divine expression. And I'm like, oh, that really makes sense.
Yeah.
Like there's a collective of beings who are looking at all these different things of what the divine expression is. Yeah. And then also knowing them as keepers, they recognize the sanctity, the sacredness of every single thing that was there. Mm-hmm. And so, and I was surprised and delighted, and I said, okay, yeah, definitely. Let's do this.
That's wonderful. So as you're speaking to the collective keepers of the Akashic Records and asking them, did you ask them what are the Akashic Records? What did they say?
They said that it was the vibrational wisdom of the entire universe, and universe the way we look at it broadly, because there's other people who can describe universe as multiverse and how many different dimensions and everything else, but they weren't going to give me that many words because I would be too spaced out and following it all, right? That they collected not only like individual people's lifetimes, not only the decisions you made and the people you made and the agreements you came here, but we're talking about like how a planet is born, how light comes into being and where it goes when it's done, how fragrance travels, like where the wind comes from. Like on our world, we think, oh yeah, it's windy. Do you know where the wind came from? It could have come from 500,000 years ago. And it's just reaching us and blowing across the spring flowers. And they were telling me this is what they are collecting. And then they collect it in a way that's accessible. Because you have to be able to connect with what that wisdom is. If you want to know more about your personal life, then they are collecting not only your lifetimes, your purpose, your agreements, your dreams, but all the influences that were there. And underneath, maybe the subtle reasons that you did or didn't. And maybe the opportunities and openings that you don't even know yet, but they're still the container for it, whether you choose them or not. Yeah. And then if we look at our planet, I mean, they know about every blossom on a rose bush and all the rose bushes. Yeah. It's like astounding, but that's what they were telling me about how much is in the Akashic Records.
Wow. And so, I've asked this question at the beginning of every interview, what are the Akashic Records? And, that idea of it being a library, it's really great because it's such a simple concept that we could like kind of accept that and we're able to use that information and it helps us move forward. We're just humans with our little brains, so this is good for us, right? Like I can handle that. And so even as you're describing it, you're saying that they're organizing the information, collecting it in a way that it's accessible. So it is meant to be accessible. Is that by us? Is that what they're doing? Like
it's not just for us. See, the collective keepers wouldn't be putting together the Akashic Records for the humans.
Yeah.
That it's this is just really funny, but it's kind of like a thankless job. Okay, like humans can have this, but other consciousness can't, other worlds can't, other universes can't. No, they're collecting it is almost like if we describe it, the history of the universe from the first burst of light.
Wow.
And so, yes, we get access to it. The angelic realms have access to it. Other divine ones have access to it. They share it with each other. Planets who want to create another aspect of their consciousness, because life is conscious, right? Can connect and learn, oh, this is how you grew trees? Oh, interesting. It's that vast. And that's really exciting.
Yes, very exciting. It sounds like it can be endless, really.
Yes.
It's so vast.
Yes.
That's powerful. What an amazing resource that we have accessibility to.
Yes.
So can you tell me, like, what's the purpose of gathering this information? Like, if it is a thankless job, why do it?
No, if it would only be thankless if it was just for humans.
Oh, I see. Okay.
It's not a thankless job for them. They love it.
Okay, great.
If it was just only, energy and wisdom for humans, it would be like they would be ignoring the rest of the universe. Yeah. They wouldn't do that.
Right.
But for them, on their side, the wisdom, the vastness of how so many different things come together and so many things fall apart, right? I mean, because clouds fall apart, it's not a bad thing. It's just like, ooh, they dissipate this way. Ooh, they form this way. Oh, this is this cloud. This is this cloud. Oh, are there other clouds in other universes? And like that is so fascinating and exciting for the keepers that they love following the energies, and there are always new things created. So not only are they amassing this information, but they are discovering new information and how one thing 100,000 years ago influences something that's today or in the future. That is amazing for them. Now, for us, we have access to things that we would never dream of. Like we would never dream to be able to, just in the standard you are human world, right? Like we know we play in the spiritual world, but just in there, it's like, do you know if Einstein actually connected with the Akashic records to find out all of his vast wisdom?
Yeah.
Well, he could have. It doesn't mean that he did, a meditation to connect with them, but that is a container for that.
Yeah.
How we connect with each other and live our lives in a higher purpose in our soul's calling and go beyond it.
Yeah.
That is there for us in the Akashic records, as well as ways of healing that are ancient that we forgot about, or how to create new things on our planet now, or how to connect with certain frequencies that are there that we might not understand, like collective community, that right now on our world, it's not looking like it's collective community, but the frequencies in the Akashic have that.
Yeah, that's powerful. That's powerful.
Yeah.
There's so much there available to us. And actually, it sounds a lot like inspiration also is there for us. Guidance is there for us. And so a lot of people who come to even something like this, a summit, they're seeking answers and they're seeking some guidance in their life. How can people use the Akashic records for that type of thing?
Well, what is wonderful is that the Akashic does know you. Mm-hmm. So not just this lifetime, which they've been following, in an open way, but also in other lifetimes and other energies and dimensions. And so when you really want wisdom and guidance from the Akashic, it's really beautiful to be very clear and almost specific about what you're looking for. Mm-hmm. So when I look at it, I say, if there's one question, because you don't know what the answer is going to be. Mm-hmm. But if you form a beautiful question that is inspiring and yet may have answers that you are looking for, then when you connect with the Akashic and you do that, it's a whole other thing.
Beautiful.
You know, and you can be relatively specific, but not really, really specific, because then you're not giving them or yourself room to play.
Yeah. Yeah. So if everything exists in the Akashic records,
Yes.
how, like, do all the future possibilities exist in there as well? And then how does our free choice and our ability, because, yeah, how does our free choice work within that?
Well, I think it's really interesting because when we're looking at the Akashic, and I look at it differently than a lot of other people. So when I'm looking at the Akashic with clients or just for myself out of curiosity, I'm not trying to find the answer of my future. I'm trying to open to the vibrations that I want to be, learn, give, share, bring to our world. So it's a slightly different focus, but if I connect with that, then my questions about what is a good choice for me can be present. In looking at the different future possibilities, they may exist in the Akashic, but it's not really what they focus on.
Mm-hmm.
Because future possibilities, I know it sounds funny, but they're actually narrowing your possibilities as opposed to opening them.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're looking, right? Like you're saying, oh, what is my future choice? Can I choose this, this, or this? Well, you just narrowed it down.
Right, you did.
And if you say, okay, I want to embrace my future in my highest joy and being that I can contribute to myself and the world, where do I play? And then they open the doors and the light streams through and you go, oh, I want to go in there. Okay, cool.
Yes, that does feel much more expansive.
Yeah.
A lot more possibility and just openness.
Yes.
And inspiration.
Yes, exactly.
That's wonderful. And the Akashic Records now is more accessible to us than ever before. So many more people are accessing their own records for themselves. There's more teachers and healers out there. Yes. What is happening? Like, why is that happening?
We're really fortunate to be at a turning point of our own evolution. Our consciousness is expanding, and we're actually having conversations with each other that we may not have had. And there's more people who are really going, wait a minute, I know I'm not just 3D. I know I'm not.
Yeah.
And whatever conversation you're having, you are. But the Akashic also is opening us up for us to be able to really connect to the higher frequencies that we came here to play in. So those of us who are attracted to and connected with the Akashic Records and the other higher frequencies, most of us came here to do that. Mm-hmm. It was like, well, wait, no, I'll go to this lifetime because I know there's going to be plenty of brothers and sisters there for me. Yeah. Right. And we can all play in these frequencies and help lift our world and lift the consciousness on this planet and celebrate what an amazing blessing it is to be here and all the other dimensions we play in as well.
Yes, wonderful. I love that vision, and definitely holding a vision that we're going to continue to do that type of work, and having a resource like the Akashic Records is such support to be able to do that. But even then, I just feel like we're still scratching the surface. Like,
sure.
So much more. So
sure.
More. Do you have any insight about, what the more is? In the records, using the records, what else can we unlock? Where is this all going?
Well, I thank you for asking that. I love that question, because if we look at ourselves, like just individually, right? If like you look at yourself in the moment right now and you say, I like to use this word, the more of you, right?
Yeah.
So if you're thinking of the more of you, that expression that is just tickling, but it delights you and it fills you with joy, and you can feel the blessings and the frequencies and the spiritual energies, you know, when you tune into that, that's where you want to play.
Yeah.
And so that the Akashic Records holds the doorways for us to play there and the wisdom to be able to move into those frequencies.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also all the other things that we can connect with. So there's other things that we may not know at this moment that we want to learn. That we may not know that there's much quicker and easier ways to heal things emotionally through our past lives, through our future, that could be done really easily.
Yeah.
So all of the wisdom that of healing and awakening and everything else is in the Akashic that we can connect with. And what is really beautiful as well is that the keepers will read your energy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a good thing, because we were talking about the vastness, right? So if as the keepers are reading your vibration and you go, no, I want all of it and I want it now. Well, they know if you bring in all of it, you're going to disintegrate. You can't hold all of it.
Right.
None of us can, right?
Right.
So they'll go, okay, wait, how's this? Yeah. And as recognizing you as a light and a being, they will share that wisdom with you that is as expansive as it can be in alignment with you. That's brilliant.
That's beautiful.
You know? I mean, I just look at it as like, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
That they, because you can imagine who they need to be in order to contain all of this. And yet they recognize each one of us. And, you know, if I'm saying that they're looking at me, they go, okay, Lumari, wait, this is way too big. Let's just take this chunk right now. When you finish that one and you expand and you understand it, then you can move forward. It's like, oh, it's not judgment, it's brilliance.
Yes. Yeah.
You know? Yep. And if we look at that, and if each person that's listening right now is sitting there going, oh, well, I could move into the Akashic and access the highest wisdom and energy possible for me in this moment, there would be a blast of light on this planet. Yeah. Because it would all be dancing and it go, oh, I didn't realize that. Oh my God, is that gorgeous? Oh, let's play here. Wow. And then we would all be in thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank
you. Yeah, definitely would be so grateful. And then to have that guidance, wisdom, opening up the next step that's completely tailored to me and my guides, that's amazing. That's powerful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the brilliance of them knowing this. Yeah. See, it's in a way, it's really unheard of. I mean, when we look around in the world, even the guides that we work with, and they do know us, but they're also, you know, doing all of these other things, which of course they need to, because it's not just, you know, one-on-one relationship and that's it for them, right? But the divine keepers are focusing on your energy, however they do it, to give you the biggest and the best, and knowing you. I mean, what a gift.
What a gift. Yeah, truly, truly. And I know we said we feel like we're just scratching the surface, but as we're opening up to even more, and again, it's tailored to us and done in such a gentle and loving way.
Yes.
You know, my sense of it is that we're definitely here to clear those blocks, transform those moments, and then come into a more creative space for ourselves as creative beings, and to know that we're infinite and that we have this creative ability. And I just sort of get a sense of that. But even beyond that, I feel like there's even more than that I'm not even understanding. So, but what it does definitely makes me feel inspired and hopeful, and and excited about the future, excited about what's going to come next as a group consciousness and for my own path.
Yes.
So it's amazing.
Yes.
I got it.
It really is. And that being able to recognize that at one part of it, all of us who are accessing the Akashic records are learning how to, or teaching people how to, we all came here. That was part of our gig.
Yeah.
Right? You know, and then to recognize that as we access and we shift the vibration, we're uplifting our world. We're uplifting ourselves. We're uplifting our world. We're helping move into higher dimensions of consciousness and awareness. And we can, in those very same things, clear and heal. Just, I like to call it the debris. It's way easier than saying everything we really need to do, right? You know, clear the debris and move into a higher resonance and be able to be even bigger creators. And be able to receive the inspiration and not just sit there and go, oh, that was really cool, but actually be in that inspiration and create from that space.
Wonderful. Beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'd love to know more about the Akashic Records. Is there anything else that you could tell us? Like, how is it structured? I don't even know because it's so vast, it's such a big idea. How is it structured? How is information gathered? How is it organized? Can you tell us more about it?
Well, after you put in your password, no, just kidding.
Google. Oh no, I have to reset my password.
Really. Well, energetically, it's organized in a variety of different ways because not all of it is organized for humans.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're a planet, and planets are conscious, just in case people forget, stars are conscious, just in case people forget. And if those elements and those galaxies want to move and shift and create, they have access to that wisdom too of how it has been done, but also how, if and when they do something, how it influences. Mm-hmm. Because everything's connected.
Right.
So just in the same way for each of us, if we just stand there and just send love to everybody in the world, love just circles our world, whether you know what happened to it or not. We're all connected in that way. So when you access wisdom, even though it's for you personally, the vibration and shift that changes in you changes in our world.
Yeah.
And the same when we go into the Akashic, yes, it is vibrationally organized for us to access at the levels we can move into and receive. Mm-hmm. But each piece is also interconnected so that when you're tuning into a question that you have about the next steps of your path, if you're looking for something very specific in that way, and then they're showing you the different things that are going on, what you may not see is all the other things that are connected to that path that you will eventually tune into when you walk that path. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And actually, the way that you're describing it makes it sound very fluid and not fixed. So that as things are happening, or like you said, that love vibration, if you did that, like it affects everything around it. It sounds like it's a very fluid, alive, moving, place, the records. And that's really different. But I could see that now. I can see how that would have to be that way. That's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the vastness of it, because even for us as individuals, when we look at our life, okay, we're looking at it from here, right? Here you are. I did this. I was born here. I had this. I went there. I did this. You don't know how many people you influenced by what you did when you were in kindergarten. You have no idea that when you gave that kid a nickel so that he could have a cookie, what changed in his life. You have no idea. The Akashic knows.
Right.
They know how that rippled through. They know how the winds on other planets influenced this planet and made more water in certain areas. I mean, that is the vastness of the Akashic, and we have access to it. And we have access to it in alignment with the information and the frequencies that are good for us. And that, I mean, that is so brilliant.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, like putting it in the really mundane. If you knew exactly what you really should eat because your body told you, this is your diet, and you just ate it and that was it, then you would be in harmony in a way. You wouldn't have to think about like, how many of this do I need, of this, of that. You would like be in that.
Yeah.
And I know I'm saying it in a mundane way, but
no, I get it that our higher good and is always sort of what's being held for us when we go into the Akashic records. It's within the space of this is for your highest good, whatever comes forward. That's brilliant.
And isn't that amazing?
It's brilliant, yeah.
I mean, really amazing, because we don't necessarily experience all of that on our planet, like directly. We might be able to look at our, 45 lifetimes and go, well, eventually it was for my higher good, but I did a lot of things that, I'm not proud of, right?
Right.
But then you connect with the Akashic and they're showing you what is for your higher good and where you can play there. And it's not just one choice. Thank goodness. Imagine if you had to wear the same shoes every day.
You're right. It's not just one choice. You're right. Definitely exciting for sure. So you talked about our access to the Akashic records. And I know that different people and practitioners, they access it in different ways. Like, are there, how do those things exist together? Are there different access points, or how is that access? Why is there such variety to that?
Well, I think it's really exciting that there's so many different ways people connect with the Akashic and have access to it. And in my book, The Akashic Records, I also have some meditations in the back of the book, very simple for you to connect and enter. The thing that is really wonderful is that a lot of times we are attracted to people who help us vibrate in ways that we can connect with the Akashic and enter. Now, for me, I have my own ways and I have my own practices to just connect in the way that I ask. Often, I'm not asking for my information because I connect with Alahuashka and I ask frequencies of creation on how I'm playing there. But if I'm asking something specific for a client, one of the first things that I do is ask if I can. I actually ask for permission.
Yeah.
I always ask for permission.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, you knock on the door. You don't just walk in and go, hey. And so I ask vibrationally, if I'm asking for you, for example, and we're not doing that, but if I am, then I would say, is it appropriate and beneficial at this moment for me to ask about this for you? And I listen to see if it's actually appropriate. And if it isn't, cool. And if it is, great. And then the vibration of the question comes through next. I like more open questions because getting a narrow answer, while it may give you easier choices, it doesn't open the vibration as much as I like to see it open.
Beautiful. So it's not just the words of the questions, but it's the vibration, the energy of the question that's really going to get you to that deeper place.
Yes. And before the question is even asked, you want to be in a very specific space. You want to be, so it's not, and a lot of people, I don't know if they actually prep for this. And I know we're going to talk about my free gift anyway, so if I'm too soon, tell me.
Actually, that's a perfect segue because we are running out of time. And so it's a perfect segue. I know that you brought a free gift with you today. So would you tell us more about that?
Yes. And so it's called a personal sacred space meditation. And the personal sacred space meditation puts your energy into a sacred space. So it prepares you, it helps you clear all of the debris. Remember, we were talking about debris before, right? Like that's people's energies, thought processes, something you picked up. I mean, I picked up energy in the supermarket that wasn't mine. So anybody who is listening today probably has done the same thing.
Yeah.
And so it helps you clear your energy field, connect into your higher frequencies, and then surround yourself in that. And that's what I call personal sacred space. So a lot of us know, you smudge the area, you do blessings, you do incense, you do all the different things to create sacred space. Mm-hmm. This becomes the sacred space. Mm-hmm. And then you can connect with the Akashic records. First you do that, now you're in the space where you can really ask. Yeah. And you can also do this, a lot of my clients do this meditation every morning and evening.
Beautiful.
Just to be themselves.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, what a beautiful way to start the practice of going into the Akashic records with this. And it just sounds like it's such a just a wonderful space to be in anyway.
Yes.
Thank you so much for that very generous gift, and also the generosity of your time and wisdom for being with us here today, Lumari.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here with you and share my own unique perspective with everyone and with you. And I'm like honored and delighted that you invited me to play. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Lumari. And for all of our listeners out there, I hope that you've been able today to gain a little bit of wisdom and insight from everything that we've shared in this conversation. But we're still unpacking even more about the Akashic records. Like we said, it's a vast, vast resource. There's so much to talk about. So please check out all of our interviews, and I will see you next time. Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.